Parking ticket for sleeping? You gotta do something about this police brutality. Need a smoke. It's not how long you make him, it's how you make him long.
So, Jesus, you were to find yourself back on the streets at age 9. However, you were to learn that every cloud does indeed have its silver lining, for it was on the streets that you met someone who had a profound effect on the rest of your life.
Hey, man, you want to buy some dope?
Ah, Jerry the honky! Harry the junkie!
The whole thing is a theatrical thing. We come from a background of, we worked in Second City, which is an improvisational theater school. I might say it's a school because it teaches you how to write on your feet.
That fish was actually killed by pollution? Well, not directly, Tommy. You see, the fish crawled out of the water and was hit by a car. If that water was clean, the fish never would have crawled out.
I guess you think the water's cleaner in Russia?
What does that have to do with it? I'm talking about poisoning ourselves.
Well, I'd rather poison myself than live under a commie dictator.
Oh, well, I'd quit Second City after a year in it, and I'd gone away to Europe to just to loaf. And I remember getting a letter from Joe Flaherty, who was in the company, saying that they'd hired a replacement for me, a little Albanian, and he's very funny. And I came back to Second City and rejoined the company. And I had a favorite spot on stage, which was upstage about 11 o'clock. Because upstage is a very strong spot to work from, because you're behind the other actors. And we were doing an improv, and I made a big entrance into the scene, and I was heading for my favorite power spot on the stage, and there was John, just planted right there, you know. He'd sort of, and wiggling his eyebrows in that crazy way at the audience, and I loved him. I mean, he had sort of usurped my position, but it was okay because he was so funny. And I remember he would get laughs. He would walk out on the stage, and without saying a word, the first time the audience would see him, they would just start laughing. And it was the most wonderful thing.
The underground is very much a fact of journalistic life. It has its own version of the Associated Press called Liberation News Service, and its own association for reprinting articles and offering advertising markets called the Underground Press Syndicate. It even has national conventions. Recently, its more prestigious papers were microfilmed by Bell and Howell, thus joining the New York Times in libraries across the country. So it is hardly underground. On the contrary, its papers are sold openly in the streets and on the newsstands. A more accurate description might be alternative, an alternative to the overground press. Paul Krasner, editor of The Realist, one of the oldest of these alternative publications.
Well, underground is a misnomer. It's free. I mean, underground would be something where you didn't know who was putting it out and you didn't know where to get more copies. But the free press is just something to fill the void left by the mass media. You know, they just have a different attitude.
At the time, there was no humor magazine for adults. You could tell the difference between some kid if he read Boy's Life or Mad Magazine. They didn't want adult themes because it was essentially for teenagers.
In 1958, Krasner self-launched The Realist, which quickly became the first counterculture publication in America. Meanwhile, Lenny Bruce was making his name as the first counterculture comedian. It was only a matter of time before the persecution of Lenny Bruce became a major story.
On the coast who's got like a nutty sense of humor, you know. His name is Paul Coates, and he found out, like there were kids that 8 and 9 years old that were sniffing airplane glue.
I'll tell you how the suit came about. I mean, the idea for the suit.
The dark suit, the black tie.
Well, I put this character called Shelley Bayless.
For paper, by the way, and I don't have any gloves to wear to, but I'll try to get some FISA hex right after the program and scrub good.
What, the issue or your hands?
Well, my hands, because it'll be from the issue that I'll need the scrubbing. which deodorant does Lyndon Johnson use? Now, what does that mean? What is that? Paul Krasner, what is that? Which deodorant does Lyndon Johnson use? That's your front page head.
Yes. Do you want to know which one? By brand name?
No, I want to know what is that? What is the reason for that?
Well, I think that the President of the United States is at such a height that people have to...
Such a what?
A height.
Height.
He's put on such a pedestal that people have to realize that he is only a human being and does use a deodorant. Like you and me.
And I'm a little worried about you. I appreciate the fact... No, but I do appreciate the fact that Krasner was kind enough after he said that to move away a few inches.
We'd just come out of the 60s. We had the assassinations, Vietnam, now we had Watergate. There was a lot of bad stuff going on.
It's often the only magazine that a lot of younger hep people today read. And why that is I think they trust us.
Educational mind molding is diffused somewhat, largely because everyone takes a lot of dope. And in a head issue we did a number of games. It's called Delicatessen Roulette, where you go out for food and you come back and you have to eat the food directly above and below it on the shelf mixed in with it when you get it back. So you get combinations like peanut butter, mayonnaise, and bologna, which can be interesting. But there's a better one called Mr. Hoover, and you get yourself really wrecked, and then everybody's laying back and very mellow, and then somebody sort of goes in another room and goes, he knocks on the door, and everybody crawls off the ceiling, and then you pretend that J. Edgar Hoover just walked in the room. You have to play completely straight. You sort of go back to high school charm and say, "Hey, Mr. Hoover, how are you? Gee, I haven't seen you in a long time. Dad'll be sorry, missed you. If you just have a seat, I'd like to introduce you to some of my friends. That's Pam and Sue." Sue giggles a lot. Girls are really funny, you know. And the idea is to keep straight for as long as possible. What I'd like to do is just read a few descriptions of typical high school characters from the 60s and 50s, based on that statement that Vonnegut made, which is the people who really pissed you off and really graveled your ass when you're in high school are the same sort of personalities that irritate you in adult life on television. For example, everyone has had a character named Carl Suzarowski, or Moose in his class, whose activities were varsity football, varsity basketball, varsity baseball, varsity track, varsity wrestling, varsity weightlifting, all-county football cup, McClune Athletics Award, and remedial English club. And the sort of Joycean stream of consciousness character description goes like this: spotlight on sports. Plowed, fuel-injected vet, want-a-knuckle sandwich, gross out, future Marine, and hates homos. I'm a fraternity man. Tap a keg of beer, I felt a thigh, eat a bite of pie, and signify nothing.
We were taking on the idiocy of our own generation.
It was like we had an attic full of culture from 1945 to 1970, and we just looted it.
It is the job of a satirist to make people in power uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable.
God damn, I don't believe it! Bob is out there! Bob, where are you? Bobby! Bob! Where is he? I know he's out there, man. There he is, over there! Hey, Bob! Come on up here, Bob, and favor us with a tune. What do you say, Bobby? Come on up here. Come on, let's give him some encouragement. Let's get him up here. Come on, let's hear it. Come on, here he comes. Here he comes. There you go. Bob, 1, 2, Bob. He's not coming up. He's not coming up. I'll get him up here. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bob. Yeah. Come on up, Bob.
We went from being criminals to heroes.
What we didn't anticipate was that Hollywood would take away all of our creative talent.
The Lampoon is the hippest place to be to write comedy, until the hippest place to be to write comedy became Saturday Night Live.
New York's Mayor Abraham Beame led a delegation of fellow mayors to Washington today, seeking federal financial aid for New York.
The costs and risks associated with any program to provide special federal financial assistance to prevent default substantially outweigh the benefits which prevention would provide.
All I sense is that you have said that the administration will amend the Bankruptcy Act, number one. Number two, that you'll take care of the banks. In other words, don't worry about the folks in the cities. We'll take care of the banks.
A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil.
A New York woman, when her needs are financial, her reaction is chemical. Chemical New York.
Super buys at Ward's Super Sale. What kind of color TV can you get right now for just $499?
Beginning on October the 11th, Saturday night, we'll open up a whole new live venture from New York City, from Studio 8H here at Rockefeller Center. And we just happen to have the producer of the program, Mr. Lorne Michaels, with us, the producer of Saturday Night, members of his company, and let's spend a couple of minutes talking about your show.
Well, we've got 8, and we're hoping for 2 to really work. So not all of these people will become stars. I mean,
that's what I said, that only 2 of you will be chosen to appear on the program, so the rest of you are just spinning your wheels. Is that what I mean?
Essentially, yes.
He had a great ability to physicalize. So he could make you laugh by raising his eyebrow. Like Keaton or Chaplin, any of those people. And I would definitely compare him to those people as a comedian.
What, not so good? Really bad? Well, how bad is my eyesight?
I don't sleep.
You never sleep?
Right.
What do you live on, Reefa?
I haven't slept. Hey,
kid.
No.
Listen, let's not get weird here.
No, I haven't slept for 6 years.
Haven't slept for 6 years. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, so you have no particular question or anything, huh?
You ask me how I do it, you just
Yeah.
got to keep doing it. You don't even think about it. You worry about the present, and the future takes care of itself.
Bring it on, shoot, fall surely down.
I would not do television if this was live. Like,
yeah, there's no way.
I mean, the slime prime time stuff is not for me or for us. We don't do that stuff. Live TV is exciting.
There's a risk there.
Tape TV is not
There's a risk.
exciting.
Attitude of rebellion and irreverence, and don't trust the old order, which was part of why the show could succeed.
Yeah. What we'd like to know is it really hard to get onto Saturday night?
You mean on as an actor, or as as a person in the audience?
Is it really hard to get onto Saturday night?
Yeah, let me just say yes.
He said yeah.
Okay.
We've been thinking about it here.
Yeah?
Yeah, really, we have. And we're just wondering, because they never say anything at the end of the story, but if he just keeps on doing what he's doing, he's going to make so many people in the world so happy.
Well, I hope so. I hope so, because it sure isn't the money I'm after.
What?
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hello. Every one of those Saturday nights has got like a real turkey or a couple of turkeys in it and a couple of gems, you know?
So we don't hit
You tune in. You don't hit every sketch. You don't hit every week.
Yeah.
But it's usually worth checking it out, flipping back to once in a while, you know?
I'll tell you what, it takes about 6 shows to get our stride.
Hi, Mark. John, I just have a question for you. I understand that this year is the last year for Saturday Night Live.
What?
And Lorne Michaels supposedly is going to be executive producer of another show next year with Gene DeMania. Is that true?
I don't really know, man. It's news to me.
Okay.
Gene DeMania?
Where did you hear this stuff? Well, I heard this from someone in New York who works out of NBC. Well, John, I don't...
Well, it's a shock to me. I might quit the show then.
Are you guys going back to Saturday night ever?
Saturday night does not exist anymore.
Well, no.
As we know it. As we know it. As we knew it. You know.
That's not. Gene DeManian is the new
There's a new staff and new writers and new producer, and there should be all fresh people. See, what John and I, we explored everything we could. You know, it got to the point where he was doing Samurai just once too often, and I was, you know, another Conan. So here we go again. You know.
If it was up to NBC, I'd have done it every week.
Yeah.
First there was kids' Levi's, ornery little critters. Seems like nothing stops them.
Billy says he's on an island where there's no McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwiches.
This flash unit's been going all night, and it's gonna keep on going.
The seven natural fruits, luscious luau fruits, come on and go Hawaii.
something new to chow about.
Friday. A hard-headed Shirley takes on a hard-headed boss, and Bill falls in love with a rock singer.
No, I don't usually do radio. I used to do sleazy late-night TV. It's movies and stuff.
How do you get away with it? We say caca, we say poo-poo. You know, we say
penis.
We can say penis.
Okay.
I heard tits the other night. Now I got in big trouble once for saying that word here. You know, I don't know how do you do it?
We're on late night.
Right.
We're on late at night. And really, it's not so bad because Carson gets away with worse.
Yeah,
stuff.
but he's been there a lot longer.
He pays our salary.
Right.
Okay. He needs no sets, and he sits there with a band and sits down and has no script, no writers.
Do Purina moist and chunky. Purina moist and chunky.
What, in a meat locker? My meat's worth a fortune these days.
Great for a family of 4.
Or 5.
Or 5. 5.
Faber College, 1962. The brothers of Delta House have a problem. The dean wants them expelled, the other frat houses want their charter revoked, and the mayor wants them dead. How did this happen? Well, it had something to do with the stolen exam, the toga party, the food fight, the dean's wife, the mayor's daughter, and the dead horse. But then in 1962, they just didn't understand the concept of independent study. National Lampoon's Animal House, starring John Belushi, rated R.
Now playing at a theater near you.
I heard from Peter Wolf you made a lot of money on Animal House. Is that...
Yeah, I got 2 devil dogs and a free ticket to the Wiz to Animal House. Great.
Did anybody expect that Animal House would be as successful as it was? You did.
I sure did. When we were filming it, I thought it was really marvelous.
I recognized in this treatment a ton of stuff that I thought was really funny, and really taking some chances with humor, with the culture, with the issue of rebellion.
Animal House was a misunderstood animal, if you will, throughout its entire history at Universal. But Ned had a gleeful love for the project. He also hated it.
I sat down with John, and his take on it, how he saw it, and what he thought it should be was, in fact, exactly what it would be in its best form.
There's dialogue humor and sort of drawing room humor and bedroom humor, and the level of sophistication of the gags rise and fall. And it's a very traditional movie, I think. It has a very traditional story, people being bullied and then striking back. And they're very kind of the outrageous group.
I just grew up at a time when traditional heroes were crumbling, and they were replaced by the rebels. I think Americans in here with the army, these are traditional enemies of free thought, in a way. I think it's really mainstream American comedy. I don't find it radical at all. And as far as being subversive, I don't think we lead our audience so much as echo what they already feel.
As I recall, it was always the intention that John would be the star, that this was a vehicle for him, and that he would represent Lampoon in a certain way.
Faith. Real faith. A man's a true fan. True friend. But wait a minute. What's he doing? He's pulling out a gun.
It was John Belushi's first movie. He was paid a modest $35,000 to make it.
I have no co-star in this movie. It's a star, and then there's the others. I'm working with a bunch of medium talent.
On that show, has been searching for something. They didn't know what it was, but one day they found it. The blues.
I got the blues.
Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, the Blues Brothers, on Atlantic Records and Tapes.
Available at this fine store.
Now you guys are going to make a movie together.
Which one? Do you mean 41?
1941.
Yeah, that's
Steven Spielberg's new movie. This is just now getting...
an acting gig.
I wanted to do a comedy because he was inspired by, of all things, Animal House, John's movie, which was a big success. Animal House just, that put him on the map as far as even bigger than Saturday Night Live. So it was a great comedy, and Spielberg wanted to do something like that. but he didn't quite have that knack. Good at drama, very good at drama. Comedy, he was lost.
We wrote a lot of stuff for the movie. We wrote a lot of scenes for the picture that didn't get in, some of them. There just wasn't enough time. There's 8 stories. I think there was just too many stories.
That might have been the problem.
Yeah, I think that it was just, the plot was too involved. It should have been a little simpler.
He was always asking us for advice. I felt weird, you know. Stephen he'd say, "What do you think of this scene?" I thought, this is Steven Spielberg asking me what I think of that scene. So, you know, I'd tell him, but so it didn't come together very well.
They'd love to have me do Animal House goes to camp, Animal House joins the Army, Animal House rides a space shuttle, you know, but it's not the way I work. You know?
You must be a busy guy. You do Saturday Night Live, you have time for movies, you have time for the Blues Brothers projects. Yeah. Now you guys really went out on tour on that, didn't you?
I'm a night manager at Burger King.
Hold the pickle,
in New
John.
York. I have to keep working, and I'm like a shark. If I stop, I'll die. You know?
Yeah, I sense that.
That's the name of the game. It's called show business.
Off the Wall Belushi is about the last person you'd think of for a romantic leading man, but he wanted to do it.
I liked it. I wasn't concerned about losing any fans. I mean, I might lose a few people who do angel dust, stuff like that. That crowd might be gone. I hope to get it back with the next picture, though.
Belushi dropped about 40 pounds for this part, but mountain climbing still did not come easy.
Last night I saw Rex review a movie with my friends in it, Dan and John. They're very funny guys. They work very hard. And Rex's review was something to the effect of, that fat slob, John Belushi, played a fat slob. This guy's a dip. I don't like him. And he can sue me. What I'm trying to say is, Tom, you don't do that to people. In fact, you were nice enough to Rex to laugh at his reviews. People up there laugh too. I'm not sure what they're laughing at. If he thinks they're laughing at Myra Breckenridge or his great performances or what. But when people do things like say things that nasty about movies, I don't want to see him on the air. And I'm glad this shows off if he's going.
Those
are my friends, and I don't like what he said. Why don't you just review a movie and say, wasn't that, instead of doing a whole act?
Now can I have a little equal time? Don't you think there's a growing trend today in the media, those who write about what we do, whether it's motion pictures or television, to be vicious? I know for a fact that there is a columnist who works for one of the major newspapers here in New York who has been told by his editors, you must be more vicious. We want more vicious attacks upon people who perform.
Who? No,
I'm not going to do it. No.
Yeah, I think that any form of journalism is yellow journalism anyway. It's capitalistic. You have to make a buck.
Yeah, but they praised you on Saturday Night Live, and they couldn't wait to knock your movies. And then I'm sure you start
correct.
thinking, hey, maybe I'm not really any good. Look at what they're writing about me.
Ben, what should I do? I seem to be at the end of my rope.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Hey, you mind if I have some of your booze? Ghost is a slob.
Ben, can you give me some advice?
Look, man, I told you to go west years ago, but no!
Yes. You're writing.
It's got to be in the Cook County Assessor's Office within 11 days.
They wouldn't turn you out, would they?
Shit. What's one more old nigger to the Board of Education?
Curtis, you and the Penguin are the only family we got. You're the only one that was ever good to us. Singing Elmore James tunes and blowing the harp for us down here.
Well, the sister was right. You boys could use a little churching up. Slide on down to the Triple Rock and catch Reverend Cleophas. You boys listen to what he's got to say.
Curtis? I don't want to listen to no jive-ass preacher talking to me about heaven and hell.
Jake, you get wise. You get to church.
The last place maybe some folks saw you was in the Blues Brothers movie.
The Blues Brothers.
Yeah, what was that like for a musician to be in a film?
Well, as a minister, it was kind of what I was doing all along. I've been like preaching one way or another to humanity, you know.
getting in on issues I probably should have gotten in on, but I think that everybody should be counted sometime. And I did that. But working with the Blues Brothers was a fantastic experience. John Belushi, big round of applause.
But these fellows, they spent their own personal money and proved themselves. And it proved something. It also proved something to the movie industry and the film industry, that the entertainers have always been actors, just never had the shot.
Yeah.
And thank God we have people like that around and young people like that, you know, enhancing our whole business.
Part of the joke of the first Blues Brothers is size. I mean, everything's gigantic. I mean, everything's exaggerated to such a huge extent. So it was interesting. People were going, well, car crash, song. Gee, that doesn't compute.
I just couldn't describe events without getting in trouble and without people looking at me like, what have you got us into?
Yeah, well, we did run over, but the footage is going to be excellent. I tell you, it's movie history. It'll all be on the screen, I promise. Okay, I'll see you in LA.
Obviously, you couldn't, one couldn't duplicate the first movie. It would cost too much. I mean, it cost $27 million then.
What do you think the cost was of your second special, Mario?
$27,100,000,000.
And for all those millions of dollars, what do you think it brought us in terms of rating?
Well, things are looking up.
Honey, you owe us one more special.
I see Burt Reynolds on a battleship with 100 dancing girls. Behind him, the Roman army.
No Burt Reynolds! No battleships, no dancing girls, no Roman army descending, sweetheart. You're going to make this special for us, and you're going to make it for the sum of $1,200.
I can make no special for $1,200.
You can't, huh? Well, let me tell you something, Angel fans. You'd better, or else we're going to come and we're going to take your mansion, your yacht, your Rolls Royce, and your fancy clothes, okay?
You.
In 1919, Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, perhaps four of the most famous people on earth, formed their own studio, United Artists. Hollywood had seen nothing like it before, a movie company to be run by the talent. For the next 60 years, United Artists made such classics as Some Like It Hot, Midnight Cowboy, Last Tango in Paris, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Annie Hall, Rocky, Raging Bull, and all of the James Bond pictures. But in the winter of 1979, two young executives, desperate for a picture that would propel them to the Academy Awards, decided to make a film that destroyed the company.
I think Heaven's Gate was used by powers that be to stop a way of filmmaking where the author was the director and was in control of the money.
What Michael Cimino wanted to make was the Johnson County War, a film about the West as it was. Not cowboys and Indians, but homesteaders fighting to lay claim to a better life. At the turn of the last century, great waves of European immigrants, Germans, Slavs, encroached on the grazing land of ranchers. In Johnson County, Wyoming, this conflict turned violent when the ranchers hired mercenaries to kill those immigrants it suspected of stealing cattle. What distinguished Cimino's script was its claim that these murders were sanctioned by the governor of Wyoming, the U.S. Congress, and the President of the United States.
Now, if you're gonna stay cool, you got to whale. You got to put something down. You got to make some jive. Don't you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
My father was going to take me on a fishing trip to Canada once.
Yeah?
We didn't go.
Crazy.
Suburb, on a very quiet street.
Well, I guess it's about that time.
Need any help?
Earl Keese, a reserved, hard-working homeowner, sits calmly waiting for his dinner. Little does he know, he's about to meet the neighbors.
Never in the city.
But we've discovered that owning things and consuming things does not satisfy our longing for meaning.
What do you say, neighbor?
Welcome to the end of the road, I guess.
Great house.
And the producer of the film heard that there was a punk rock band going to play that music. He said, no, there's no way that's going to happen. John immediately started picking up typewriters, kicking televisions, jumping up on the secretary's desk and breaking the lamps. And my phone machine was lit up like a Christmas tree when I got home. He said, man, did you hear what John did today?
What was once an expression of working-class rage is now prepackaged individuality for teens with a yen for rebellion. Punk may well be dead in London and New York, but it's alive and well in suburbia. Ron Jr., 15, was a junior high school football star. Rhonda, 16, was a cheerleader. Now, the kids are punks. And for the Hodges, that's a big problem.
They were thinking of putting me in a mental hospital for a while.
When Cowboy Ronnie comes to town, works out his tongue at human rights. Sit down, enjoy beer. Guidance some charbroiled nuts.
Hi, I'm Frank Sinatra. I hope you'll join me on January 20th to celebrate the inauguration of the 40th president of our blessed country. There are many handsome inaugural souvenirs that I'm stocking up on. You may want some for your children and their children. Selling these souvenirs pays for the inaugural event. And here's Big Ed to tell you all about it.
That book title in itself could be inflammatory, could it not? I mean,
Yeah,
that's going to lead a lot of people to think that somehow Ronald Reagan is connected with the mob, with organized crime.
Well, basically, the book is about MCA, the most powerful entertainment conglomerate in the world. They own Universal Pictures, Universal Television, MCA Records. It's about Reagan, the most powerful man in America. And it's about the Chicago Mafia, the most powerful organized crime group in the country. The major characters being Reagan, Lou Wasserman, the most powerful man in the entertainment world. He's chairman of the board of MCA, and he was Reagan's talent agent when he was in Hollywood. And it's about Sidney Korshak, the Chicago Mafia's link between to the Hollywood film industry, and he's been described by law enforcement officials as the liaison between the legitimate business world and organized crime. Basically, what I'm charging is that MCA, throughout its has invented, created Ronald Reagan.
90 miles. It's nothing. Just one small step, looking for a man that wants to be president of the United States, having the cash to make it possible. Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel.
How Hitler got started. We take you to Bremerhaven, 1927, the largest theatrical office in Germany. MCA, Mein Kampf arises.
You have done bad to me. Hey, what is it?
Don't look now, but dig the guy on your right that's painting the wall.
You two guys are coming to Dallas, and so I'll see you when you come to perform as the Blues Brothers in person.
Okay.
Okay.
Dallas.
See that
Thank you very much.
our president.
What?
It's designed to bring attention to the end of the American dream and the beginning of the me generation. The thing that got the ball rolling was the Kennedy killings. The main causes were Vietnam and Watergate, where people decided they didn't care anymore, and their effort didn't matter. All they cared about is themselves. And
There was a settlement between MCA and the federal government with the Kennedy Justice Department in 1962. And as a proviso of this settlement, all criminal and civil charges against the MCA and its indicted co-conspirator, the Screen Actors Guild, particularly the Screen Actors Guild while Reagan was president, that all criminal and civil charges against and investigations of these people would be dropped, which included Ronald Reagan.
So they were going to set up Marilyn Monroe with Bobby and John one more time, because they all loved Buckingham, and they were going to film it like they did with J. Ruber. They had J. Ruber in their pocket for years, because he was a cross-dresser.
We are not machines, no matter how much they want to say we are not.
They said, let's get Bobby in because he's the one busting balls. Let's get Bobby. Bobby and her have a conversation, unbeknownst to everybody. He says, fuck you, I'm going, your brother, you, and I'm going to. 2 days later, she was dead. 2 days later. No overdose. She died of oxygen. They kept pumping oxygen to her for a year until she, that's it, had an aneurysm.
Okay, and he's still sort of in the pocket of MCA and some of the people he helped back then, and vice versa.
No, I'm saying that he was an invention of MCA. I'm further saying that MCA has dealt with organized crime throughout its history.
Another John F. Kennedy quote that's a little closer to our hearts is, "He who makes peaceful revolution impossible makes violent revolution inevitable."
Governments are a drug just as religion is, just as television is. It's just to placate people. There's no such thing as communism or capitalism. They just invented those two terms to have each other scared of each other so they can control us. So there's no such thing as politics. And you change faces, you change the name, but it's all the same, run by the 3 or 4 different people, control everything, and you'll never know who they are. So
It's usually big money.
Useless.
It's just big money all the time behind it.
Politics are useless. They're just something to take your mind off of what's really going on. It's a smoke screen.
Has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks, and it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no?
I don't know where the money is, but if you need money, I'll give you money. But this really surprises me. I'm really shocked. Because I thought we had something here a lot stronger than just business. I mean, you know, I love you more than I love my own family. I do. I want to protect you. I want to help you. I want to protect you from the outside world. Protect you from people like me, you know. And I think I'm doing a good job.
A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be.
But the system is so geared that everybody believes that just the father will fix everything. The father being the government. Government will fix everything. It is all government's fault. You know, shake your fist at the government. Well, we are the government. So I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, you know. They're after us because we talk about peace, you know. I mean, peace, you know, we've said the same thing for 2 years, different way, one way or another.
Keep you doped with religion and sex and TV. You think you're so clever and classless and free. Well, you still think of peasants as far as I can see.
Don't be afraid. I can't hurt you through the television. But imagine if you woke up one night and found someone who looked like me in your home. You'd be scared. You don't have to be afraid anymore.
Is it a little dangerous to rely on each other?
Well, it is if one of us gets snuffed.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to both try to stay alive and work together.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think in terms of what it's going to do to our careers. You know, I mean, it just, we have fun working together.
We're in that we want to provide good entertainment value for your dollar.
Hi, welcome to New Wave Theater. It was a custom in ancient Greece to pass a skeleton around the table before every banquet to remind everyone of their mortality. Today, in Regan country, it's only at funerals and times of loss that we allow ourselves to see the transience of life, for no one wants to be reminded of the passage of time.
The suspect in today's shooting is a 25-year-old white man from Evergreen, Colorado, John W. Hinckley, son of an executive of the Vanderbilt Oil Company based in Colorado. His family is described as arch-conservative Republican. And tonight, the head of the Nazi Party in the United States says Hinckley was expelled from the group because he, quote, liked to shoot people and blow things up.
Like I said, I won't hurt you. I'm an actor. But there are people out there who aren't acting.
President Bush and Defense Secretary Weinberger are members of other camps. Richard Nixon is a bohemian, and so are high-ranking executives of such companies as Eastern Airlines, Standard Oil of Indiana, and Bank of America. For the most part, the men of Bohemian Grove are over 50, highly successful, and, according to many employees, politically conservative.
Well, each year, many of them seem to have a stunt, or try to come up with a stunt.
Last year, 1980, the popular button was Free the Fortune 500.
Other regular activities include the production of 2 plays, one of which involves major sets, orchestral music, and extravagant costumes. The other play appears to be just a bit on the lighter side, at least judging from these old photos. Members also...
Now see how easy it is for you to own a piano or organ.
Who would have thought we could afford a piano of our own?
Do you have a good idea? How much is it worth? Well, it's certain you won't find out until you do something about it.
Curtis Blow learned how to rap on the streets. He learned how to construct his raps and how to control his crowds as a college student.
Come on, you know this song.
I learned it in speech. The greatest orators of all time use crowd response.
Somebody scream!
10,000 or more had come to receive the blessing of Pope John Paul. Instead, amongst the cheering and the peal of bells announcing the arrival of the Pope, they heard gunfire and saw the Pope turn pale and collapse, bloody, into the arms of his aides. Pope John Paul II had been shot. A Turkish terrorist who had threatened...
My agent and myself were finding it very hard to convince other people in the show business community to hire me for other television shows. And you laughing at this, I think that you're laughing at it is pretty tasteless.
The reviewing stand in a low fly pass when suddenly a grenade was thrown and shots fired from anti-tank units moving directly in front of President Sadat. Thinking it was all part of the military display, it took seconds to realize the bullets were for real. A spray of bullets aimed directly at the Egyptian president, vice president, defense minister, and their entourage.
President Reagan is telling visitors that Sadat's death makes it more imperative than ever to sell those AWACS radar planes to Saudi Arabia.
Now how much would you pay? Well, you also get this giant 4-quart Royal Durasteel colander. It holds pounds of pasta, piles of potatoes.
I developed a taste for things like burritos and sugary soft drinks. I tried all the fad diets and an exercise salon, but they only worked for a while. Schick helped me overcome those junk food cravings and help retrain my eating habits. Now I'm in control.
How many diets will you try?
You must always obey my voice. Do you hear? You can relax when you see the flame, Julie.
Mr. Suchak, there's nothing personal in this. I'm sure that you're a fine newspaperman. But I do serious work here, in private and in peace. I'm not a pop singer. I don't have a million records to sell. Publicity is trite and trivial. Reporters are parasites. They feed off the accomplishments of other people. I don't see newspapers much, but what I do see sickens me.
Well, they only cost 20 cents. Can I ask you a question?
What's a nice girl like me doing in a place like this? No comment.
Make that godforsaken place like this.
God-forsaken? Come on.
Where are we going?
Church.
Pardon?
Church. The oldest one in America.
Let's go down to that sunset. Anything can happen, and usually does at sunset. Rock stars, showstoppers, head poppers, valley girls. At sunset, artists, players, all night stayers at sunset. Anything can happen, and usually does at sunset.
what Saturday Night Live used to be?
well, this is very much what the energy of it used to be like.
What did it feel like when it started?
Well, it felt like a lot of dirty rooms back like this, back in the kitchen. And you're all huddled around feeling nervous. Essentially, that's it, you know. Back to the TV studio, as you well know, looks sort of like a garage. You know, there's very little mystique to it. And it's all high energy, and people are wound up very tight. You know, that works.
Beam up, Scotty. No sign of intelligent life down here.
Once again, there were never drug dealers that wanted you to hang out at their place. You know, the whole idea was to get in and get out fast.
Right.
In this case, the idea was to come in and, much like a speakeasy or the Algonquin Club, the idea was to put it on the table, share it with everyone else, hang out, pick up a guitar, go to the piano, see who shows up next.
So what more is there to say about the town I was born in and live in? Just that from tomorrow I'm moving out. It's too full of predators and opportunists who are living this real life in a false way. To a place where there's more to ritual than snorting cocaine and phoning your agent.
They saw him as a star that could put people in the seats, and there was a project that was hanging around the studio that wanted to get made. They had an option on it. They paid money to get it written, and they saw John as the expressway to get it done.
You have to read it. You're not going to believe it. And, you know, so they want me to wear a diaper in this movie. That's how it's going to open, like I'm a baby in a diaper.
Oh, don't do that piece of shit. Are you kidding me? Come on. Get away, get away. Get out, get away. Come home. It's the spring. Things will happen over the summer or the fall. We'll figure something out. I was writing Ghostbusters right then.
It was never my intention to try to reach an audience or to have a big audience or to even be in films. I just wanted to, you know, do shows off Broadway and things like that.
John.
Hi, I'm Michael Dare, and this is The Bottom Shelf. This is where tapes end up, because they simply don't belong anywhere else. I mean, where do you file Beyond the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, anyway?
I have the deformity of some enormity. They call me the Elephant Man.
I used to do a thing about that, too, called Celebrity, about this man standing on the guy with the big smile, goes home, that takes off like...
And he's a monster, but...
Yeah, it's like a whole bizarre thing, because sometimes maintaining that is a very scary thing.
I'm the Elephant Man, and I'm happy to be.
It's true, you said about sometimes being on, that people want you to be a certain way. Sometimes you can't help but be depressed, or, you know...
Do I make you nervous?
No.
You like
Yes.
You like me?
Yes.
If you want us to leave, Don.
This is one of those yes/no interviews.
I feel like a horse.
It's astonishing how angry you can get on stage. And there are people who say there's no such thing as a bad audience. There can be an audience of clods and dunderheads.
Especially for comedians, sometimes they look upon them as lower than, you know. It's kind of like a Cro-Magnon.
Night live television success with such movies as Animal House and Neighbors.
Belushi died at the Chateau Marmont, a Hollywood hotel favored by entertainers and rock stars. The cause of death reportedly natural causes. 2 years ago, he got an award at UCLA, and the performance was pure Belushi.
I feel funny about awards, you know. I like Emmys and Oscars and Grammys and all that, because you have to buy those.
John Belushi, dead today at the age of 33. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Hollywood.
Pick this up for an hour.
Lorne Michaels, the original producer of Saturday Night Live, had this to say about Belushi's death.
Not the tragedy. The tragedy is that he, you know, his life was very full, and it was, and that it's been stopped.
Deputy District Attorney Michael Genlin said it was Kathy Evelyn Smith's statements to the National Enquirer that persuaded officials to take a hard second look at the Belushi case.
And what we have in this article is the appearance of someone who is apparently confessing to potentially having committed second-degree murder and furnishing heroin.
Why was this case given low priority just a few weeks after Belushi's death? Why was Kathy Smith released after just 2 hours of questioning? And why was at least one Hollywood celebrity named in that testimony not contacted?
The essence of what I discovered was that the drugs that killed John Belushi came from the LAPD evidence locker. It was all they were trying to bust John Belushi, that Kathy Smith had made that she would keep the LAPD posted as to what was going on in the room, that she was getting John high, and she reported back that, Robin Williams had dropped by, and Robert De Niro had dropped by. And whoever her contact was at the LAPD got a little bit greedy at that point and thought to themselves, well, gee, it would be better if we could make a bigger bust. He asked Kathy Smith if, there was any chance they were coming back. She said, well, yes. And could there be any other big stars coming by? And she said, yes. And she was told, well, just, keep getting John high until any other stars show up. And when they do, give us a call and we'll make a bigger bust. And so she kept getting John high until he died. And then she called them and said, hey, guess what? Your shit just killed John Belushi. And they said, don't move. And they showed up, and they told her to leave, come back in an hour. They cleaned up the room.
Smith was on probation at the time of Belushi's death, the result of an earlier heroin arrest. Genlin explained why she was not detained.
Certainly at that time, she appeared cooperative. She did not appear that she would be evading any further questioning. She was apparently giving free and voluntary statements. And how long can you talk to somebody? Certainly a 2.5-hour period appeared sufficient at that time.
But if you read the transcription of Kathy Smith's questioning by the LAPD when she's eventually arrested, for some reason they literally never asked the question, where did the drugs come from? It's a question that never comes up at any point. And they didn't ask because they knew where it came from. It came from them.
We determined right from the outset that it clearly looked like an overdose, and it was the investigator's judgment that that overdose appeared to be cocaine and probably injected.
She had a case already in the works. She was specifically given drugs from the LAPD evidence locker to promote a relationship with John Belushi with the interests of getting him busted.
Hollywood, the magnet that attracts all talent. Hopeful performers looking for their place on the big spotlight of fame, is a rich field for the dirt gatherers of journalism. And when there is no news, they make it.
And is it true that once people do talk to you, they don't eventually usually like what you print? And because the wife of John Belushi in your book, let's just have a quick look at it again.
Yes.
Actually says she doesn't even recognize her own husband from the book, and she feels you've betrayed her.
Well, she says that, and then she speaks out of the other side of her mouth and said it turns out to have been worth it, and she would even do it again because maybe some people will have learned the lesson.
Well, Woodward, it's fascinating business you're in, absolutely fascinating. I hope I never become one of your victims. It's 7:43, time for sport. Here's Richard Keys.
He spoke with me about an hour and a half, and there's things in there that I don't remember saying to him that, first of all, the book, I've skimmed through excerpts of it. It's really pulpy and trashy. It's not well written at all. And Bob Woodward, he was a man with a very respectable career.
Deep Throat said, follow the money. In this case, I'm saying to him, please follow the drugs. Please, whatever you're doing here, just find out where the drugs came from. Can you do that? Come on, Bob Woodward, please. Because I believe the drugs came from. He said, well, how do you know that? And then I told him the whole backstory of how I knew John.
That's a depressing, sordid, tragic book. He jumps around the issue of the police probe and the fact that some of the people that were purveying drugs to John were friends of police force members in Los Angeles. And this is something that he wimped out on, and I have heard that he really didn't write most of the book, that it was John Anderson, his researcher, who put down most of the material on paper.
I'm at a Hollywood party somewhere, and I'm introduced to someone, and they go, oh, Michael Dare, are you the Michael Dare who was in Wired? And I said, yes, I was. And she said, oh my God, I worked on that book. I went, really? And this was a woman. She said, yeah, I was a research assistant for Bob Woodward. And I said, really? Well, do you know why he didn't use my story? And she said, yes. And I said, oh, really? Okay, tell me. She said, the day that he was coming out to interview you, instead, to have lunch with you, instead he had lunch with Daryl Gates, who was the chief of police of the LAPD. She said, until Bob Woodward had lunch with Daryl Gates, yours was the story we were telling. She told me that they had verified my version of events. That they had 3 to 4 other people who had told the same story.
Chief Gates said what happened to Belushi is symptomatic of a larger problem.
I think we're suffering a tragic loss, and I think these things ought to be brought out. I'm kind of happy that the media is continuing with this story, because I think the more you talk about it, the more it's going to call it to the public's attention that we have a terrible problem. And here's a terrible loss, a tragic loss, due to, for no reason at all, just junk.
Every decade needs a scary boogeyman to rally behind and blame all of our deep-rooted societal problems on. And in the 80s and into the 90s, the blanket term drugs was the 9/11 of the times. First Lady Nancy went from school to school telling children to just say no to all of these drugs with a t-shirt. Once she'd absorbed enough child's fear to energize herself, Nancy would swing into the occasional rehab center to gather horrible tales of people. She then shared these horror stories with all of America, which in turn made the whole country say, hell no, to people who said, hell yes, to drugs.
Today, there's a drug and alcohol abuse epidemic in this country, and no one is safe from it.
And the plan worked. A boogeyman was created. The Reagan administration's pulverizing advocacy for anti-drug causes resulted in 64% of Americans in 1985 believing drugs were the #1 issue in the nation. Sorry, AIDS.
Mr. Caesar will be sitting in that great big jacuzzi in the sky, and I'll control both sides of the equation.
Sure, but just like every other foaming rabid psycho in this city with a foolproof plan, you've forgotten you're facing the single finest fighting force ever assembled.
The Israelis?
I remember a big media event was the first ride of the Batarang, and Nancy Reagan rode shotgun.
You wish that somehow somebody could have gotten a hold of them sooner.
So you had Nancy Reagan sitting next to Daryl Gates conducting what was in essence urban warfare.
It just got scandalous.
On this week's Super Train Mystery, Hail to the Chief. 2 dwarfs and a magician replace a presidential candidate with a double so real.
Open your eyes to a wonderful show.
How'd you put it? Coca-Cola ads.
Oh, what a feeling!
Big savings now on all Hoover cleaners. Hoover cleaners. Right now.
You use your nasal spray again and again because congestion keeps coming back.
In clinical tests, new Unisom helped people feel drowsy, so they fell asleep faster.
The Other Side of the Mountain, Part 2. The continuation of the true story of paralyzed ex-skier Jill Kenmott.
Effective and safe. Read label directions. Medicines can't help you.
Look, honey, there's your ring.
Look, Grandpa, there's your ring. You've got ring around the collar.
Oh, those dirty...
That the original Ghostbusters was originally intended for John Belushi.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was writing it for Eddie Murphy, John Belushi, and myself.
Why not John? Why didn't he take the part?
Well, when I was writing the line for him, I got the call that he had died.
Now, you might be seeing some black and white footage, and of course you know this is a work print. And we're going to try to show you little bits of the film and get you excited. We certainly are. And
if that doesn't work, we have 117 girls who are looking for scholarships to nursing school. They'll be circulating through your rooms over the next day or so.
Al Franken went to bungalow number 3 where John died and spent a night there. And he said that John sat on the bed next to him and appeared to him vividly for at least 2 minutes.
He's a newspaper man with a big name in a big city.
I know what really happened on Murphy Street. And if I know, pretty soon Chicago will.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Enjoy your dessert!
He has friends in high places. He gets vacations he didn't even ask for.
What is this? Some kind of a blackmail scheme?
Let's say I'm offering you a bargain on some very artistic pictures.
There was one person who said they heard it from someone who put me on the phone with them. And it was someone who was intimately involved. Someone who told me that they were in bed with the police officer and overheard the conversations between him and Kathy Smith.
We know that Columbia is charging a lot of money for this. We heard this. It was our idea. But there are some perks. You'll be able to have the successful comedy, and you'll be able to meet someone special back in your room in just a few minutes. As soon as this meeting's over. That's right. All taken care of by the good people over at Columbia Pictures, a subsidiary of Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Ghostbusters.
I spent about an hour and 45 minutes before the Senate of the United States testifying on the progress of narcotic problem in the United States, and you might know they would pick up one little comment.
And occasionally they arrest just the guy on the street. They don't get the big guys. You know, because the big guys are already working for the government. They're all shaking hands, you know. The pyramid goes up like this, and at the top, whoop, it's the same guy. The one who sells the dope and the guy who says, go arrest this one.
It's just a bad substance generally, and I'll speak out against drug abuse when the U.S. Air Force starts forcing down the smugglers' planes. It's $1 billion industry. What can I do?
And Barry Seal had another agenda. Pilot Terry Reid claims Seal hired him in 1983 to train Contra pilots at this remote airstrip north of Mina. In 1984, Seal was arrested for smuggling and was turned by the Drug Enforcement Administration into an informant and smuggler for the government. With help from both Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North and the CIA, Seal pulled off a spectacular drug sting. He flew his own C-123 to Nicaragua, where he took these pictures of Sandinistas helping load Colombian cocaine onto his plane.
I believe that his war against organized crime, his war against drugs, has been nothing more than a charade and a public relations campaign, and I think that the evidence is clear on that. That there were the people who were selling drugs to purchase weapons for the Contras as part of their eleemosynary activity. And then there were those who were more mercenary about it, selling drugs for profit using the Contras as a cover for their operation.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me.
I